it's always a pleasure to be back in Canada and here in Toronto. And over the years, I do keep meeting people again. It is, in spite of the size of this country, it's amazing how often you catch up with people. And that's very nice, because you always feel as if you're going back to somewhere you know, because you keep on meeting people you've met before. And that's, I think, probably the last time. I don't think much of that has probably contributed to your success, don't you think? It's a remarkable event, I have to say, and still going strong, I'm pleased to hear. For 6 years, a long time as Lieutenant-Governor, and patently you have done a considerable amount in your time here. And I expect Ontarians, and particularly here in Toronto, are very grateful for you for having done all that work here. And thank you for all of that. Some of those who I meet more than once are in this room, a combination of the Duke of Edinburgh's Commonwealth Leadership Conferences, an Emerging Leaders Dialogue, and the members, of course, of the Royal Victorian Order Association of Canada. I don't so often get to meet those of the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, but I am allowed occasionally, when there's nobody else around, to give those awards, which I very much enjoy. But all those organisations that link with Britain, with the Royal Family and the Queen, particularly the Duke of Edinburgh, it's really encouraging to see how well they continue, how they've adapted and moved on and been so well supported, and particularly here in Canada. And we're talking here in Canada, particularly the Duke of Edinburgh's Commonwealth leadership for 57 years. And that's, I think the total is about 5,000 men and women throughout the Commonwealth who have participated in the conferences over that period of time. And many of those are recognised as leaders in their own communities and organisations. And I rather hope I'm being accurate in saying I think one of the reasons it continues is because it is those who were at the beginning and those who experienced the conferences who have been sufficiently impressed by those experiences to want to go on giving back to the next generation of leaders through the continued commitment and through organising the Leadership Development Programme. Now, I know that my father would not have expected it to last this long, so it is a great tribute to that far-sightedness in 1956. Very different situation, and yet somehow those situations keep recurring with maybe a slightly different mix. And the value of people meeting together to discuss those issues of leadership never seems to go away. So I'm particularly pleased to hear that the planning is already underway for another Caribbean-Canada dialogue in 2015. And that combines everything, I think, about the leadership conferences, which is so important, not just here in Canada, which, of course, the Governor-General's conferences contribute to enormously, but also in the way in which they're spreading that to parts of the Commonwealth who find it really difficult to manage those sort of conferences on their own. But still, the advantage of meeting other leaders will have an enormous impact. And the Royal Victorian Order has, of course, recognised an awful lot of that effort in the past, as it has recognised everybody who has made such a contribution to the monarchy over the years within Canada. And I think the turnout here is quite remarkable. I believe there's about 3/4 of those of the Canada members of the Order here tonight. Thank you very much for coming. It's a pleasure to be able to catch up with some of you, and you will no doubt remind me of your experiences before the Victorian Order, probably since as well. Now, I've had the opportunity to meet representatives of the Duke of Edinburgh Commonwealth Leadership Conferences and Emerging Leaders Dialogue, and the Royal Victorian Order in Canada, but also in the United Kingdom and across the world. And that reflects very much the importance of the Commonwealth as a whole, and the way that people can give back to each other, and that common language approach that really does make a difference to so many different countries and peoples. And the mix is, of course, is changed, but the impact that that has on the newer members is hugely important. Now, this has been a pleasure to be able to catch up so many in one place, and for that I'm grateful very much to the Lieutenant-Governor also for your hospitality today. That's much appreciated, and it's lovely to be back here. And I won't get a chance to see, but these photographs are fascinating. I think so that'll be a very good exhibition to have, and I'm sure the previous one was as well. But in thanking you, we have a little gift to offer you, which reflects some of the activities of the leadership through the conferences. And I hope you enjoy that. That's to mark the 50 years. You know, you may recognise a lot of people in that.